Hello, my name is John O'Brien. I am the Executive Director of the Keystone Contractors Association. And today's video is part of the 2021 Construction Opioid Awareness Week. I just wanted to share a brief message and just kind of tell the KCA story behind all of our outreach in this area and how we got to this point. Um, So I was hired in the fall of 2016 by the KCA, and there was a 3, maybe 4 month overlap between the previous executive director and myself. And I thought I would really take advantage of that time because I really didn't know the construction company members of the KCA. So I took advantage of the time to really hit the road in Pennsylvania and meet with the current members of the KCA. Just wanted to, introduce myself and find out more about these companies. What type of work do they do? What are their strengths? What do they like about belonging to the KCA? What are some challenges they face? And over that, 4 month period, there was a reoccurring message that I kept hearing about, and it was the opioid issue and how addiction rates are a real challenge. It's a real issue throughout Pennsylvania. Maybe I lived a shelter life prior to moving back to central PA. I lived in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for 20 years, worked for the Master Builders Association. And, I saw the nightly news and I saw reports about this opioid epidemic, how it's hurting society and hurting communities across the country, but I didn't really see it up close. I didn't see the issue up close. It wasn't until I was doing those tours around Pennsylvania and really talking to companies in areas that are really hit hard, areas like Johnstown, Altoona, up towards Northeast, Wilkes-Barre, that area. And even in Harrisburg and York, in areas, rural areas tend to get hit pretty hard. So I talked to the KCA board and I updated them and said, these member visits are going great. I'm really enjoying these meetings. Getting to know all the construction professionals around the state is a lot of fun. But there's one thing I want to talk to the board about, and that's when I brought up the opioids, saying, this is more serious than I thought, and when you see it up close, it really has a negative impact throughout Pennsylvania, throughout our communities. And the board's like, well, we should do something. And I said, yeah, we should, and they said, well, give it some thought and, make a recommendation at our next meeting. So, I was thinking about it and talking to some industry contacts and, thinking about what to do, what sort of outreach should we do, what role can we play during this whole process. And I came to the next meeting and I was kind of unsure. We talked about the issue again and we knew it was serious and knew we needed to act, but it was kind of, we don't know what to do, what direction to go in. After that second meeting, in my role with the KCA, I serve on numerous funds and apprenticeship committees. And after that second board meeting, shortly thereafter, there was a carpenter apprenticeship committee in Lebanon County at the Carpenters Training Center in Lebanon. And the training director there reported on overdoses of 2 young apprentices within a few months time frame. It was the same story that you hear about on the news, same story that you hear about, good up and coming, bright, athletic, person, just kind of got hurt on the job site. Next thing you know, he's prescribed opioids, and next thing you know, he's doing harder stuff, and death comes and you hear, oh, this is the last person I expected. He was a great, football player in high school, or he was this on the job site. He was Mr. Reliable. Everyone got along with him. Everyone liked him. This is not something I pictured. And when I got the news of those two overdoses, it really hit me really hard. And I talked to the board, and we got real serious. We can't delay anymore. Let's act. Um, and myself and from the board, some others played a very important role. Helping to decide what direction we should go in, and those individuals were Greg Quandle, Howard Bernstein. Greg is with Quandle Construction, and then Howard Bernstein of Penn Installations, Dave Mirarelli from Joseph Mirarelli and Son and Company. I'm sorry, Joseph Mirarelli and Company. So we had our small little committee, and we would talk, swap emails, decide what we should do, and still kind of unsure, what exactly we could do. It was at that point I reached out to my old coworker, Bob McCall, the director of safety at the Master Builders Association. And Bob said, you might want to give thought to contacting the National Safety Council. So I contacted NSC. They got me in touch with Rachel Cooper, who is just excellent. She's awesome. And she, I told her our story and I told her our situation, and she's like, well, we have tons of resources. And I was like, okay, yeah. So I brought that back to our committee, and I said, they have tons of resources. And as a way to get the communication started and get employers talking to their workers, what if we just start like a library, start like a resource outlet of all sorts of items that employers could have at the office, anything from sample toolbox talks to stickers to put on your medical card and your prescription cards. And the stickers say, opioids warn me. Anything as far as they have calculator, so addiction calculator, so employers can see a financial side behind this and how much does an addiction cost at your work, and all sorts of great resources to be shared not only within the company, but hopeful that beyond the company, the workers would get it out into their community. Construction industry professionals tend to be leaders within their community, and the more we arm them and prepare them with great resources, the more impact we can have throughout Pennsylvania. So that's pretty much what we did early on. This I'm looking at probably 2017, late 2017, I believe. And then entering 2018, something happened. Like we were making such an impact, and word got to some of the unions that we work with. This KCA group's doing a lot of great stuff, and they have a lot of great resources. So next thing you know, the Carpenters Union and Laborers Union, they started also providing those resources to new apprentices. And I think the Carpenters told me they greatly expanded their drug and alcohol talk during the first year apprenticeship class. It used to be a brief, 30-minute class or whatever. Now it's full length, multi-hour session that they have. And that's due in large part to all the resources that I was able to share with them, and they were able to get those resources into the hands of the carpenter apprentices. And then along the lines of the unions finding out about it, with companies belonging to multiple associations, next thing you know, I had other association professionals calling me, from like NUCA, for example, NUCA PA, the Pennsylvania Builders Exchange, MCA, the Mechanical Contractors Association. There's a long, lengthy list, about 20 or so. And little by little in 2018, these different groups would call me and ask what I was doing. And I said, this is what we just want to increase the communication and open the door, for employers and employees just to talk about the issue and put it on the table and just have a kind of an open door policy they could talk about. And next thing you know, these other associations started doing it. And it got to the point where a legislator, Jason Ortate, a state rep in the Pennsylvania House, he's a Pennsylvania or a Pittsburgh-based legislator, and he got wind of this. I think he read about it in a newspaper article or something, and he contacted me and he said, "Hey, there's a way we can shine a light on this effort that's going on in the construction industry, and we could introduce a resolution and get more legislators aware of your efforts, and they could get the word out to the construction companies in their district." So we started doing that, getting resolutions introduced every year in both the House and the Senate. The city of Harrisburg hosted an event a couple times just to promote the efforts of the construction industry, and Adams County did the same. They hosted a few events. So that we had construction companies statewide buying into this construction opioid awareness campaign. We had various associations buying in. We had labor unions. We had legislators. All the momentum just started steamrolling, and we just kept doing more and more. And like a light bulb went off, saying, in construction, there's various weeks. Like we're currently in, when this is being recorded, we're currently in safety fall down week, or stand down the falls week in construction. So we thought, what if we have a week dedicated to opioid awareness? And we're like, yeah, that sounds good. So we picked the, last full week of July. And we picked that week because it was kind of, the height of the construction season. There's a lot going on, perhaps in the minds of construction professionals from, it's vacation season as well. So families are doing various stuff. Your mind might be wandering a little bit thinking about that. You have, if you have kids, you might have sports coming in the fall. You might have various, different summer plans, summer activities, and construction seasons at full tilt last week of July. So we just want to refocus the effort and make sure to remind people about this issue, about construction opioids. So that's kind of how we picked the week, and this is the story behind KCA, how we got involved. It's not a KCA initiative. I mean, while we may have started early on, this is a construction initiative. Early on we might have had the idea to do more outreach, and that was due in large part to seeing firsthand our members suffer through this crisis. But this is a complete construction initiative, and no ownership here is needed. So we just want to help the construction workforce in Pennsylvania, and we're glad so many other organizations, legislators, professionals want to help as well. It's a serious issue, and thank you everyone for your support, and let's make a difference this year. We especially need a difference to be made this year after 2020. 2020 was a very negative year when it comes to addiction and overdoses in Pennsylvania. So we're looking forward to working with everyone this year, and that was the KCA story about the Construction Opioid Week. Take care. See you.